Well, how's it going, everybody? I'm just going to take a minute to make a little video about how I can make you a better at creek fishing. Well, hopefully. Maybe you can learn something. I just got 5 things about how to maybe improve creek fishing, or kind of what I do, what I've learned over the last few years of how I can catch more fish, explore more places, stuff like that. Kind of about how I go about it, and let's just get right into it. Number one, first off, I'm going to say is using lighter action fishing stuff. Of course, when I'm talking about creeks, I'm talking about little areas, maybe a foot to 2 feet deep. Just a creek that's flowing through town that you probably drive over them all the time. There's several in my town, the little creeks. Some are a little bit deeper than others, but I'm talking about just little areas of water where I'm looking at catching 10 to 12 inch bass, bluegill, sunfish, all kinds of fish like that. Just want to be able to do some multi-species fishing. And I'm going to go over a little bit more of this at the end. I'm going to show you some lures and my fishing poles, but this right here is a 6-foot light action KastKing Calamus pole. And I'm using 4-pound mono, Peacefin Viper 2 reel. You know, a little light action setup that I can cast around some small micro lures. Like this right here is a little Rebel TNR crawl. And I'll show some more lures and stuff like that at the end. But first off, just think downsize. You're not going to take your bass rods. You're not throwing, big old 6 and 8 inch lures or big old soft plastic, stuff like that. Little lures, little action rods. Also, one more thing with the light action poles and rod and reel. Remember to pack your tackle light too. Don't have a ton of stuff. Don't be taking 3 fishing poles in your tackle box and a backpack, and you got every time you stop you gotta put everything down, pick it back up. If you just take one rod and reel, maybe a little bag, little shoulder bag or something like that, or maybe even just a little backpack. I got this little backpack the other day. I'm gonna show you what's in here at the end of the video, but just something small. It keeps you going, keep moving, keep fish a little area, move to the next, fish a little area, move to the next. You'll catch a lot more, you'll find a lot more fish, and you'll just enjoy it, I think, a lot better. Alright, second thing, approaching a creek. So you got a creek picked out and you're like, alright, I'm going to fish that. You're not going to walk straight up to the bank like I see all people do all the time. You walk straight to the bank and you start casting in. Those fish see you coming. The creek, most of these creeks are, say 10 to 15 feet wide. If you walk straight up to the bank, most of the fish are going to be right there on the bank. Walk up slowly, approach it, you're going to be watching. That's the main thing I'm doing. I'm looking in there and I'm just looking for fish. Most times little creeks, there's going to be a lot of little fish in there, and you're just looking for them, hanging out at the top. So you approach it slowly, calmly, and you stand back and cast in. Stand 5-10 feet off the bank, make the first cast in. A lot of times you walk up to a place, you're like, oh, this looks like a good place. Cast in, and a lot of times the fish in those creeks are going to hit the first thing that comes in there. They're all trying to eat all the food. So that's why creek fishing a lot of times is a lot more fun. You may not be catching giants, and a lot of times you're catching a lot of smaller fish, but you're mostly going to catch a lot more fish because the fish in there are hungry and they're ready to hit something. So approach slowly, cast from further back till you kind of work your way up, and then cast in tight windows. I don't know how many times I go fishing with people, or with somebody that doesn't fish as much as I do, which not very many people do, and they're used to casting bigger lures in open water, and I go up there and I'll cast in this tiny little window. Boom, catch a fish. Cast again, catch another fish. They're like, how do you catch all these fish? But I'm putting it right on them. I'm casting within inches of the bank or between trees or limbs or something. Yeah, you're gonna lose some lures, and some of these lures are like $4 or $5 lures. A lot of times I'll just go out there and get them if it's something like that, or especially a new one. But you gotta practice casting from this way, from that way, overhand, underhand, whatever it takes. Get that lure out there. If you get it right on those spots where those fish are hanging out, a lot of times that's how you're going to get a lot more. Alright, number 3 is trying new places. People all the time are asking me and are commenting like, how do you find all these places to fish? I can't find places to go like this. Well, it isn't easy work. It's a lot of hard effort and a lot of commitment to it. I'll pick a place out, I'll drive by a place, and I'll mark it like in my mind, like I'm going to come back to that place. 6 months later, I'm like, oh yeah, I still got to check that place out. 2 months later, I'll stop and look at it. Another time, come back and try it again. And sometimes I'll stop at a place, especially in the wintertime, I'll stop there and not catch anything. I'm like, was it just wintertime? Usually the fish in the creeks don't really bite a lot in the wintertime. I come back when it's warmed up, see how it's going, see if the fish are active. And some places I'll show up first time, catch all kinds of fish. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times of stopping. And as far as like fishing places, if I stop at a bridge, you can stop at a bridge and fish. There's the roadway's got easement on there you can go to. If it looks like it's like a farmland or if somebody's private property, yeah, stop, get permission. If it's something that looks like it's government property or something like that, a lot of times I'll explore a little more. If there's no signs, if I don't look like I'm bothering nobody, I'll be careful about it. I don't want to be just, walking all over people's property. Don't want to get in trouble for that. You don't want to make people mad at you, but I'm more inclined to do a little more exploring, kind of see what's going on. All right, number 4 kind of goes on with number 3. You find new places, now commit to it. Make it an adventure. I've fished a lot of places where I'm like, I don't want to get wet, I don't want to get, in the weeds too much. I'm just going to fish the little access that I can get to. And I'll fish there, I'm like, it didn't seem like I caught much. But a lot of times when I push on and go a little further, I'm like, all right, I'll get in the weeds. I'll get a few ticks. I'll get some poison ivy. Get some boots. These boots really help me out. I got a pair of muck boots, and I can go a lot more places. I don't have to worry about getting wet. But most of the time, I'm like, if I'm committed to fishing a little creek or a little area, I'm like, all right, I'm just getting in the water because I want to get around maybe this one spot that I want to go a little more. I just go a little further down. If you just commit, you're like, all right, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to go a little further, maybe fish an extra hour. Wade just a little bit further upstream or downstream or go somewhere, you'll catch a lot more fish. And last thing is just, everybody knows this, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. The more you cast these little lures, get used to this light action stuff, the more lures you got, the more time you spend going, you're going to get better at it. You're going to catch a lot more fish. In the last 5 years, I've really started doing this creek fishing and just fishing in general a whole lot more. And I still want to learn how to do more catfishing, and I've got some other fish I wanted to go after that I'm not really familiar with that, but I've been trying it, and I've been catching a few of them. But I've did a lot of effort into this light action, multi-species type fishing, and now it seems like I'll go to a creek and I'll just wear fish out. I'm like, yeah, that's just a regular day. And I'll talk to some people, and they're like, how'd you catch that many? I'm like, well, it was easy, because I do it all the time, and I go to more places. I don't catch fish at every creek, definitely. But I go to a lot of creeks and I fish a lot of places, so I'm catching fish, I'm learning things, I'm kind of figuring out what they're hitting on or how they're hitting a lure. You're trying out new lure, you're figuring out how they hit. So just the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, just like anything. I played basketball all my life growing up. I always tell people all the time, you go on a summer break, the coach is like, hey, you got to stay playing, got to stay shooting. Because if you stop doing it, you're not going to get as good at it. Same thing with casting or just the feel of the fishing or just, whatever you're doing. Just kind of keep doing it. If you like doing it, just do it some more. Keep practicing on it. You're going to get better at it. All right, so if you're wanting to find a few lures, like what do I use for creek fishing? You probably already know what to use. Basically anything you're going to be using for like crappie fishing. Any kind of crappie lure basically works for any kind of multi-species sunfish or little bass or something like that. But let me show you a few here that I've really been liking recently. This one here is the Rebel TNR. I'm not sure. So this one right here is a Rebel TNR. I'm not so sure how well you can see that. I gotta get a better camera. That's one thing I'm gonna have to add to my my fishing stuff, a better camera. But it's a little Rebel TNR. It's got pretty good size hooks. I can't remember what size they are. They're not the tiniest hooks. It works great in moving water, calm water. I do a lot more moving water than anything, but I've been really surprised how the bluegill and like stuff are trying to eat that. Like, there's no way a bluegill can get this lure in its mouth, but they're hitting this lure like crazy. This little like minnow looking thing. It's like $6 or $7, I think, for this lure, but man, it's just been working great. I keep trying to put it away, and I'll bring it back out, and I catch fish on it. Another one is another Rebel lure. It's actually probably my favorite, but the TNR is starting to take its place. But this is here, little Rebel Crick Hopper, and the yellow one's my favorite one. I think they all work fine, but I really like the yellow grasshopper one. It's got small hooks. You just throw it out there, cast it, and it's great for really shallow water. Like I'm talking about, if you're fishing something that's really shallow, you don't want to dive at all. It'll sit right on top. You can twitch it. A lot of times the fish will hit it right when it hits. It's like a little bug or a little grasshopper falling in the water. Twitch it, and also I catch a lot of fish on retrieving it. Some people retrieve really slow, and I kind of do mine a little bit quicker, and I get a lot of fish that way too. But it catches, I've caught pound-and-a-half largemouth down to smallmouth bass that big, so, and all kinds of sunfish and stuff like that. And any kind of grub lure or stuff like that, I'm gonna put like the trout magnet and the maybe a little bit like a crappie lure, like kind of in the same category. But I love this little, this is actually the crappie magnet made by the same people who make trout magnet. It's just like a little bit bigger version of the trout magnet. Well, 1/32 ounce jig head is my favorite, and I even buy these the trout magnet 1/32 ounce jig head lures, and because I like the way they're shaped, and the gold and silver ones. Any kind of little grub, you know, just a little like grub that you're going to use for a crappie pedal tail thing. But you know, I'm sticking with the smaller things, and I like stuff like that because it's really simple. There's not much to it, and any size fish can bite it. There's so many lures that you could use. There's you know, a million different lures. Most time these fish will hit whatever, and it's whatever you get comfortable with. A lot of times somebody's more comfortable with one than another, and they catch more fish on it because they know how to use it better. And that's just a big part of it. But you can't go wrong with a rooster tail. They're like $2-3. Black, I like the black and yellow is probably my favorite one. But I hear a lot of people really like the black. And just this one here is a 1/8 ounce, so 1/8 ounce, 1/6 ounce, something like that. You can even go smaller. But you know, little rooster tail, little inline spinner, Mepps, or I can't remember any of the brands right now, but any of them will work. Any kind of little spinner like that always work fine for multi-species fishing. Just real quick, here's my a few of my assortments of fishing poles that I'm going to use for light action fishing. This right here is the Shakespeare Micro Series that I get from Walmart. It's a 5.5 foot. I think this is actually a light, but it's almost about as light, ultralight. I got 2-pound trout magnet mono. I like the trout magnet line. It's really tough. Does well. I got just a little. It's an Abu Garcia Silvermax reel. I think like a 1,000 size. You know, this is a real cheap setup, and I got a little tiny lure on there, and it's a 1/64 ounce trout magnet jig head with a little Nico caddy fly, I think, or stonefly, I can't remember, on there. But just a little bug, and I was wearing out some bluegill the other day, and you'll probably be seeing a video from that pretty soon. But this little light setup, and a lot of times with lighter line, lighter stuff, the fish will see it and it looks easier for them to eat. Like, oh, that looks more natural, I'm just gonna eat that. I picked up this Berkley Lightning rod, and it's a medium light, 6 foot. I really like the action on this stuff. It's real sensitive. This rod's like $40. I'm not sure where all they sell it at. I got it at a local fishing store. And this is a KastKing Summer reel. It's like a $20 reel. You can get it on Amazon. I looked them up, the KastKing Summer and the KastKing Centron. Simple little lures, and they work great. And I got 4-pound like crappie mono on this one, and I can throw, you know, a little trout magnet to a little bit bigger lure. But really like this little setup and action on it. This is my heaviest rod and reel. I've been using this a ton because it's great for like multi-species. It's the Xfinity Speed Stick. The rod is the Lose combo, but I changed the reel. I don't know. I just did the reel. The other reel's fine, but I'm always changing things around. This is a Daiwa RG 2500, and I got it on sale for $40. I think they're like $60 reel, but really like the reel. It's got a 5:6 gear ratio, so it's a little fast spinning, and I got 6-pound mono on it. It's one of my most fun rod and reels to use because it'll catch. I can use it for about anything, about any size lure, any kind of thing, and it does great. And this again right here is my favorite creek fishing pole setup. KastKing Calamus rod, 6 foot light action rod. This rod's about $60 on. I got it off Amazon, just ordered it off there. It's a really good rod though. Thai Pig Patrol uses one exactly like this. That's where I saw it. He's got an ultralight. This is the light, and he's always wearing out fish, and I love the action on it. Really great rod for the money. The Piscifun Viper 2 reel in a size 1000. Great reel. It's about $45 or so. You know, this is a kind of a little bit expensive setup for me. I know for some people that's a cheap setup. For my standards, you know, $110 setup's kind of high, but I really like the action, and you know, it's so lightweight. And if it's something where I'm going to go fishing for 2, 3, 4 hours, you want to have a fishing pole that doesn't, you know, wear your hand out or just wear you out from casting all the time. This right here is definitely awesome for casting all the time with some 4-pound mono. It's usually about all I use for this kind of stuff, and it'll catch about any kind of fish. All right, once again, this right here is my like wading backpack, or what do you call it, sling pack. It just goes over you, like almost like a fanny pack, but it goes over your shoulder. And I'm starting to rip it up because I've been stuffing so much stuff in there. But it's a Magellan. I got it from Academy, so I don't know how to do a link on that. But I think they're just at Academy Sports. And I just picked up this bag here a couple weeks ago. It's outdoor. I think it's Walmart brand, or from Walmart, and it's like just a small backpack. But I can get little bit more stuff in there. I was carrying water and I was hiking recently. I mean, obviously I got camera gear, and I can get a full pack like this in there if I want to take more lures. But if I'm taking my little bag, I'm just going like a small creek, I'm usually going to take like one plastic case, and I got like, there's probably 30 different lures in this thing right there. In the middle pouch on this one, and I got a pouch on my other sling pack, I can carry soft plastics. One of the soft plastics I take about everywhere I go are these Nico Helgramites, and I kind of talk about them a lot, but they're a little expensive, like $7 for a pack of 4, which sounds really high for lures. But these things will not tear up. You can't tear these lures up. You can catch as many fish as you want. You can pull on them, stretch on them. Fish can bite on them, jerk on them. They're not gonna rip them up. The only way you're gonna tear them up is by losing them, which I do that too. But because I'm casting somewhere where it's in a tight spot, I lose them. But everything, usually good quality stuff is expensive. The Z-Man Ned rigs, TRDs, whatever, they're great for creeks and stuff. If you're looking for, like, you know, if you want to catch a little bit, like some bass or something a little bit bigger, I'm usually gonna throw those on like a 6-pound or 8-pound line. Although I have caught several fish on 4-pound line using those also. And a few things, let me just show you really quick. A few things you can take for compact stuff. You got a little tape measure if you want to measure fish. Compact, a little bitty survival kit, a backup battery, small scales, fingernail clippers for cutting lines, stuff like that. Small pair of Rapala grippers, and I also carry a pair of pliers. That's the stuff that's kind of compact. You can keep with you, the way you can have it all the time. Alright, this video was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be really quick and to the point, but when I got into it, it was like, well, there's a lot more to it. And I know you might not have watched the whole thing. If you're still watching it now, appreciate it. But also, I want to shout somebody out or give a recommendation. If you're still watching this video, you probably enjoy creek fishing a lot and little action fishing. So I'm going to tell you to go ahead and subscribe to Golden Rat Fishing. I'm going to leave a link below, but he's got 128 subscribers. He's been starting to make a lot of fishing videos, and he really likes enjoying going in small creeks and little areas and catching multi-species fish. And I can see that he has fun doing it, and I like watching his stuff. It's just interesting to see people kind of catching these small fish, and he's kind of a little bit new at it too, but he really enjoys it. He's not going for giant bass or something like that all the time. So if you want to see some more creek fishing, then go check him out. But thanks for watching. I'm gonna pick all my stuff up now, and hope you have a good rest of the day.